Howdy. So if you follow along in the series, this is the third one, and today's story, there's something that happened a while ago now. This was 7, coming up to 8 years ago. I found myself in rehab. How I got there is a bit of a different story, but long story short, I'd had a accident at work. I needed some support, some pain relief, and I'd gotten into the system. I needed support financially as well, and I found myself in the system of the medical profession. They're certainly fabulous. They do great work. It turned out it wasn't what I needed, and I spiraled into pretty bleak depression. Not having work was terrible. It was awful. It was exactly the wrong thing that I needed to recover. But that was a journey that I was on at the time. And through that journey, at the end of that journey, I was in a very low state, at a very low point, and I found myself in rehab up in the hills behind Melbourne. And I'll just fast forward a little bit through the early days of rehab. Again, it's a different story. I really want to talk about the last third, or maybe the last half. I was there for a few months. I was there for 3.5 months. So the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks, I was there. Physically, I had improved dramatically. I'd been through quite a intense detoxification process, where they help you just purge and cleanse your body. So physically, I was actually feeling I was feeling okay for the first time in a long time, and I wanted to start exercising. I started to feel the want, the need to get out and do some exercise. So I always get up pretty early. As is now, it's in the morning now. It's why I've got the fire going for a bit of light. So I got up. I'm up early. I'm in this house. It's quiet, and this facility was set in the middle of the bush. There was all these fire tracks and access tracks, walking tracks, which we weren't technically allowed to go on. We were supposed to stay within the confines of the facility, but quite often we would walk. We'd go for walks together and walk out to the gate. About a 6K one way trip. So we do these big walks. I wanted to go for a run, so I set out this morning and I started going for a run. 500 metres at best, and I'm cooked. So I had said in my head that I'm going to go on this path, which was a 10K loop. I'd walked it plenty of times. I knew it well. I was going to run it. Well, after 500 metres, reality gave me a bit of a slap around the face. Said, "Mate, that might be setting the bar a bit high." But anyway, so I ran and walked and just did the best I could do. And I made it back, and made it back a lot later than I thought I would. missed breakfast and whatnot. But yeah, so that was quite a wake up call to my ego, quite a wake up call to just what state I was in physically, considering beforehand to run 5 or 10 Ks. It's something I do regularly. So every morning I would get up and just get a bit extra, go a bit further, and take me a bit quicker. As I was doing this, I'd find I'd get back to the house. We call it the house in the morning, and it'd still be quite early. Have some conversations with some people or whatnot. And I just found I wanted to stay sort of in my own bubble for a bit longer, because you're in the house and there's a lot of people and everyone's on their different journeys they're going through, and getting private time or getting time to yourself is rare. So these runs that I was doing was that. It was giving me a chance just to be on my own and to think or not think when you're running. You get in that state where you sort of, your mind just kind of wanders around, and I suppose it's active meditation. So I've got this thing where I've always enjoyed digging holes. That's just, I was going to say that's a story for another time, but no, that's really important to this story. So going years back, probably started it when I used to go fishing with my mates. Go over to the beach, drive over to the beach, I'd go surf fishing all night, and that didn't really hold it for me. I remember this one time they were over there fishing and doing stuff, and I was a bit bored, and there's a shovel handy, and I started digging a hole. I dug this hole, and in the end, the hole was, I was standing in the hole, and my head was underground level. It was massive, giant hole. It was just in sandy soil. It wasn't that hard of digging. There was just something about being down there in the earth that just was really connected with me some way. And I don't remember that time, but after that I can remember other times when I've dug holes, and I'm talking about holes that you can sit in. Fire's dying down a bit now. So I'm in holes that you can sit inside, and sitting down in the hole is really peaceful. It's just, you feel really grounded, which makes perfect sense. It's where you are. So here I am at rehab, and I'm like, we did have access sometimes to help out around the grounds, just a bit of a tool shed, and so I'm just going to grab some more firewood here. So I borrowed a pick and a shovel out of this little shed we had, and it's just me breaking some sticks. There we go. So I've got a pick and a shovel now. So my daily routine became get up early, 0 dark 30. For those of you who listen to Jocko's stuff, 0 dark 30 was when I was getting up. I'd go for my run, and I'd come back and I'd get my pick and my shovel, which wasn't technically allowed to have, because potentially they could be used as weapons, and people did get emotional from time to time. So I had my pick and my shovel sort of stashed in the bushes, and I found a spot sort of right on the edge of the grounds. It was behind some trees. It was not in an obvious line of sight of anybody. So I was, it's kind of in my own little space, and I would dig in the mornings, and I've always had this real strong connection to a pentagon shape. So my holes are always the shape of a pentagon, 5-sided. And yeah, I would get a pick and a shovel, and so I'd sort of get that run, that cardio work, and then get on the pick and the shovel and get some strength work, and it became my routine every morning. Run, come back and dig, and I'd dig up to a certain time, and then go in and get ready for breakfast and the rest of the day and do the rest of the things. But bit by bit, it was, very much would love to have put this camera somewhere. Hold on to it so much. What was I saying? Yeah, so I would do this run, I'd do this dig, and bit by bit, it would have been great if that's right. It would have been great to have had a bit of film, like a montage in the movies, kung fu movie, where the hero or the protagonist, I think is the word, goes through this journey of healing and learning and getting stronger, and because that's exactly what I was doing. I was living this kung fu journey, and getting stronger and fitter, and every day, just digging and hitting with the pick and just being wrecked. But things just getting better. Being able to push a bit harder, and that's what I think the real, when you're getting stronger and fitter, is when you can push a bit harder, go a bit faster, or go a little bit longer, or and I kept this as a real, this is a really busy place, and I just kept this as my little time, my space, my morning practice. Some people meditate and start the day with gratitude, and which is very, very important to do. I suppose I was demonstrating, I was living my gratitude, because at this point, through the journey I've been on, I was extremely, extremely grateful to have my physical health, because that was quite a journey to get back to have my physical health, and to have the time, have that luxury of time to be able to exercise and to dig. And I created these really beautiful holes. I know you might have in your head that it's not just a hole, but these are more than just random diggings. It was three. It was two. It was one small sort of, two pentagons, one sort of maybe a metre across, and one a bit bigger. The ground here was quite hard and rocky, so it was good digging. And then there was an incomplete pentagon, which goes back to sort of some of my earlier art practice, where I was playing around with incomplete dodecahedrons. So I'll find some photos and chuck some photos up. But long story short, was this real journey, and I did it all the way to the end. It became a sort of thing, and I showed a couple of people. There was a couple of people that I was sort of close to, and might ask, well, what are you doing over there? Notice that I'm just sort of up there in the mornings and walking back wet, all dewy, had boots, and I don't even know if I had boots, to tell you the truth. I just had runners. But yeah, my clothes would be wet from a bit dirty, and people would notice, and some asked, and not everybody took down there, but some people I showed and shared, like I am now. So that sort of morning practice of physical exercise is really important to me. Still something that I do daily. Takes different shapes. This morning's practice before I lit the fire and come out to have a chat was some qigong. So I did some breathing exercises before I even got out of bed, and then some more peaceful movement, but a more movement with sort of the intention to just stretch and sort of move some internal energy, which is something I've been getting a lot of benefit from. So I balance that out with some, you can see right behind you this, I've got a great big tyre and rock and punching bag and different bits and pieces to go all rah with, which that was yesterday's. Tomorrow will be the same as that, but today is a much more peaceful practice. But still getting the energy flowing and moving and setting up for the day, which is really important. Speaking of setting up for the day, it's about that time where I need to get off to work. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Subscribe. I'll be having a new backyard adventure video soon coming up. We've got a drone, so that's really fun and exciting to do that with. So yeah, some good times coming up in terms of some content for the channel. It'll be fun. Definitely the kids will be involved. They love they love it. I really love. It's something we do together, and that's really special. Having our sort of family videos as these backyard adventures. So yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, once again, have a great day and get some.